Anna clutched the small maintenance bot against her chest, its optical sensors dark and lifeless. The 8-year-old's lower lip trembled as she looked up at her mother with tear-filled eyes. "My robot broke, Mom," she wailed, holding up the palm-sized device that had been her constant companion for the past 3 months. Her mother, Maria, knelt down and examined the bot with tired eyes. The diagnostic port was fried, and the quantum core showed signs of cascade failure. She knew what that meant. A repair would cost more than she made in 2 weeks at the colony's water reclamation facility. "I can't afford to fix it." "Honey," Maria said softly, brushing a strand of hair from Anna's face. The girl's tears began to flow freely now, and Maria felt her heart break. They had come to Kepler 442b for a better life. But the reality of frontier living had been far harsher than the recruitment videos suggested. Leo, the Galactic Confederation's liaison officer stationed at the human settlement, witnessed this exchange from across the marketplace. The tall, crystalline being had been observing the human colony with growing fascination for the past standard year. His species, the Vexthari, had mastered technology millennia before humans had discovered fire. Yet something about these newcomers to the galactic stage intrigued him. He approached the mother and daughter, his form refracting the colony's artificial sunlight into prismatic patterns. "Greetings," Leo said, his translator rendering his harmonic speech into standard English. "I could not help but overhear." "May I examine the device?" Maria hesitated, then handed over the small bot. Leo's sensory appendages flowed over the machine, analyzing its construction with the casual expertise of a species that had forgotten more about technology than most civilizations would ever learn. "The quantum core has suffered a cascade failure," Leo announced. "This model is poorly manufactured. It should have lasted decades, not months. I assume you purchased it from the Dravix Collective?" Maria nodded wearily. They were the only ones selling affordable bots. Leo's crystalline structure seemed to dim, his species equivalent of a frown. "The Dravix are known for exploiting developing species with substandard goods. This is unfortunate but expected. The repair would require a new quantum core which costs approximately—" "More than I can afford," Maria interrupted. "I know." Leo stood silent for a moment, considering. In his 300 years of service to the Confederation, he had seen countless species struggle with the technological gap. Most accepted their place in the hierarchy, purchasing what they could afford, remaining dependent on the advanced species for generations until they slowly developed their own capabilities. It was the natural order of things. He raised an eyebrow, a gesture he had learned from humans, and looked at Anna's tear-stained face, then back at the broken bot in his appendage. "How did you acquire this device originally?" he asked. "I saved for 6 months," Maria explained. "Anna needed it for school. All the kids have learning companions. And when it broke, you assumed you needed Dravix parts to repair it?" "Well, yes, that's what the repair shop said." Leo's eyebrow raised higher. "May I ask you something that may seem impertinent? Your species has only been spacefaring for 87 of your years. How did you reach that milestone?" Maria blinked, confused by the question. "We built ships, indeed. And how did you build your first computers?" "We invented them, I suppose." "Why, and your first quantum processors?" "We developed them from theoretical physics," Maria said, her brow furrowing. "But what does that have to do with—" Leo's structure began to shimmer with what his people expressed as amusement. "Everything human, Maria. Do you know what most species do when their technology breaks? Get it fixed by someone who knows how? Precisely, they wait. They accept their dependence. They remain grateful to those of us who generously provide them with our expertise." Leo's tone carried an edge that the translator rendered as sardonic. "Your species, however, did something remarkable in your short history. You built almost everything from scratch. In less than a standard Confederation century, you went from atmospheric flight to quantum drives. Do you understand how unprecedented that is?" Maria shook her head slowly. Leo gently placed the bot in Anna's hands. "Most species, including my own, I must confess, take the easy path. We inherit knowledge, build upon it incrementally, and maintain the status quo. Humans? You reinvent everything. You refuse to accept that something cannot be done simply because you do not yet know how." He gestured to the marketplace around them. "This colony is surrounded by Confederation technology you cannot afford to repair. I have watched humans here for a year, expecting you to accept this limitation. But I see now that I have been observing you through the lens of my own species experience. Leo's form brightened, and he activated his personal data interface, projecting schematics into the air. This is a quantum core's basic structure. Your species has the theoretical knowledge to understand it. You use similar technology in your ships, though less refined. What you lack is not intelligence or capability, but simply time and the assumption that you are permitted to try. Anna's eyes widened as she looked at the floating diagrams. Maria stared at Leo with a mixture of confusion and dawning realization. You're saying we could fix it ourselves? I am saying that every other species would consider that impossible and accept their dependency. Humans, I suspect, will see it as a challenge. Leo's eyebrow raised again. Am I wrong? Maria looked at her daughter, then at the broken bot, and then back at the alien liaison officer. A slow smile spread across her face, the kind of smile that had propelled humanity from caves to starships in a cosmic blink. No, she said quietly. You're not wrong, Leo nodded, his form radiating satisfaction. I thought not. I will leave these schematics in your colony's public database. I suspect that within a month, every human child will have a working bot, and within a year, you will be manufacturing better ones than the Draviks ever sold you. As he turned to leave, Anna called out, Mr. Leo, why are you helping us? The Vexthari paused, his crystalline form catching the light. Because the galaxy has been comfortable for too long. Young Anna, and I have a suspicion that your species is about to make things very interesting indeed. That evening, Maria sat at their small dwelling's workbench with Anna beside her, the broken bot between them and Leo's schematics glowing on a borrowed display. Around the colony, word had spread. 3 other families arrived with their broken devices, then 5 more. By midnight, 17 humans crowded into Maria's home, arguing about quantum field dynamics, sharing tools, and jury-rigging solutions that would have horrified the Draviks engineers, who had designed the original bots with planned obsolescence in mind. Anna's bot flickered to life at 3 a.m., its optical sensors glowing with improvised human engineering. The girl squealed with delight and hugged her mother. From his observation post in the Confederation Tower, Leo watched the lights burning late across the human settlement and allowed himself something his species rarely indulged in: hope. The other species in the galaxy had forgotten how to build from nothing, how to refuse limitations, how to look at impossibility and raise an eyebrow. Humans, he suspected, were about to remind them.